Okay, we're live. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Okay, so I just started this thing, this live stream, and I'm already a little tired, frankly, because I've had a very busy, productive day, and a lot has happened. But I wanted to come on and make my first real video of 2026 and sort of answer any of your questions because I'm sure that you have plenty of them. Hello, Mr. Soul Eater. You have a question here. I'd be happy to try to answer it. Will or are you going to be the president in the United States on the year 2029? I don't know. I can't tell. However, um, I'm already letting people know that I'm here and willing to do the job. I'm sure that I'll still be alive, and I'm sure that I will have a lot more money by that point because of what's happening in the cryptocurrency sphere, which I've been heavily into for the last 8 years or so. So I think you will probably be hearing more about my campaign as it gets closer to 2027 and 8, maybe sooner. So I'm anticipating that I will be everywhere by that point, and uh, we, the people of the United States, I don't know if you're a U.S. citizen yourself, Mr. Soul Eater, but we, the people of the United States, will be able to tell probably more clearly by that point who will actually be the next U.S. president. I'm offering to do the job, and I think the American people, uh, by that point, will have been through enough that they're going to need someone who will be uh, sort of thinking a bit differently about everything. And I think I am that person. I think that you will find that because I have already campaigned in the past and I've published a platform of sorts on my official website that current and prior administrations were effectively taking ideas from my platform and offering them to the American public and not necessarily going about them in the way that I would have, but they were certainly taking ideas that were uh, put forth by my platform, by not just myself, but my wife, Crystal, who came up with a lot of those ideas. And sort of twisting them a little bit. And I think we're still hoping that, you know, maybe some of the ideas that they took will at least be implemented in the way that we said we would like to see them implemented. But I'm not really going to hold my breath. I don't expect much, frankly, from anybody, um, including Donald Trump. I mean, I don't know the man, and I'm not picking on him because I don't think he needs the aggravation if he's really out to accomplish things that he has expressed setting out to accomplish. I don't think he needs to be criticized for those things. I think he needs to be encouraged, and I would strongly encourage Mr. Trump to continue doing the work that he has been doing and working to implement these ideas, whether they're his or someone else's. Because, this is what the country needs, and this is what the people need. And I think that if the United States serves as an example for the rest of the world in certain instances, it will result in a better world. So I think it does still matter what America does to the rest of the world because I have spent plenty of time traveling elsewhere and I see how people talk about the United States and are concerned with what we're doing because it has an effect on them. So I would like to see the U.S. do great things and continue to do better than it has been doing. So, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be the president. We'll see. That's if you're a U.S. citizen, that's really up to you, not anybody else, and it's up to you and other U.S. citizens. So let's see what the people decide. I don't think it's up to any person to say who is going to be the president, let alone themselves. So, do you? Okay, so let me tell you all about what I've been doing for the last little while. I've been basically living in a recording studio, and I've published a lot of new music, which I'll be sharing via my band website, uh, youngastronautsclub.com, and on your favorite streaming platform under Young Astronauts Club. So feel free to check those out. You're not a registered voter, but you are a U.S. citizen. Well, all you have to do then is register to vote. And if you want me to become the next president, you have a hand in that, whether supporting my campaign or just telling your friends, telling your mom, telling your dad, telling your uncle, your cousins, whatever, that I'm here, and if you like my platform, you can tell them about it and how I'm promising to adhere to it as strictly as possible if you guys want me to do the job. So, have you seen my website? For that, it's macintoshusa.org. And if you look under the section that says Make America the Greatest Again, or MATGA for short, you can read my points and ideas. And I think you might like a lot of them. They've been there for a good few years at this point. I've been putting these ideas out since uh, let's see, bef- since before Donald Trump actually became president. So there are definitely some things in there that Trump borrowed heavily from, and that's fine. We're you know we're thinking along the same lines with a lot of stuff, but I want you to know that we probably came up with some of the stuff that has been in his platform and his even his policy ideas. So uh, taking out the Iranian government was not my idea, but I certainly am not opposed to it. Those guys are some of the worst in history, and um, I've known Iranian people, grown up with, and worked with Iranian people, people from Iran who live in the United States, and they can't go home. They have, none of those people have been home in their home country for years. So I don't think that's right or fair, and I think that the United States stepping up to actually help them to have freedom in their own country is commendable and admirable, and I think that we should continue to work for that, frankly. And I know that uh, it's definitely hard for people whose families are service members, and it's definitely upsetting to people like myself who grew up in the same communities as people who ended up in the Marines and um, the Navy, Air Force, etc. But I do think in the bigger picture it will be worth it. I don't think that it's worth risking the lives of United States service men uh, sort of overdoing any kind of military action. I think we can do what's necessary to be done without putting troops in Iran. But um, it still is hard because I know that some people have been killed who were on the right side of history. And I don't know, I've heard that there have been Iranians killed who were innocent bystanders and stuff. I don't know if I believe that, though. I don't know if there's any verification of that. If there is, I'd like to know if anybody out there knows if that's a fact. Um, Please let me know, because I do think that would be uh, an issue of great concern, and I don't want to see that happen either. So, and I'm sure that the current United States government does not want to see that either. That is not the intent of going into Iran. The intent is to hopefully prevent the insane Islamic theocratic, they're not really theocratic, but they're an Islamo-fascist government from being a threat to the rest of the world, and to help the people of Iran who have been suffering immensely at the hands of their own government. So that's what's been going on. Of course, nothing is ever going to be done perfectly, but the end result, I think, will be much better. Um, but yeah, so what I've been working on is a lot of new music and putting that out into the public with streaming websites such as YouTube, Spotify, Tidal. Let's see what other ones are there. There are hundreds of them now, and I can't keep up with all of them. But let's see. Our distributors get them out to Amazon, Apple, um, Deezer, Qobuz. I don't know how to pronounce that. Qobuz. That's a platform that hosts all of our music. Um, Shazam, Ngami. Is that how you pronounce that? But just use Google and you'll find a lot of it. And it's all under Young Astronauts Club. So there's plenty of stuff that is old and is still just newly available. There's also stuff that has been finished off, new things, new remixes, new tracks, new versions of older tracks, etc., etc. We're just kind of going crazy in the studio environment and being very productive. Myself and Crystal as the producers and primary everything producers, engineers, composers, musicians, etc., etc., lyricists, vocalists. Um, we're just doing as much as we possibly can, and uh, we have time to do that at the moment. So hopefully, it will result in more for us to perform at a later date and more to choose from to continue to work with in terms of maybe remixing and uh, who knows? I don't know, but plenty of new music at least. I hope you guys all like some of it at least. That's kind of the point, really, is that it's it is for people to like, enjoy, and listen to. Otherwise, we would not even be putting it out there. So I do hope that some of you out there at least will like and listen to some of it. So there you go. Any more questions? Maybe. Okay. Well, if not, I'm gonna try to think of some things to talk about. Um, hmm. So I'm wondering, with all of you out there, what is your favorite cryptocurrency? Uh, any any favorites out there? I know I've talked about Bitcoin a lot in the past, but I am really interested at the moment in XRP. I think that's a really good investment option for you guys out there. And I think that it's going to do really well, especially because of what's coming up in terms of legislation and various catalysts that will propel it forward. It seems like a lot of those things that could make that happen are going to happen. So to me, that's exciting. I hope that all of you have at least a little bit because it's my personal belief that one XRP token will be like $1 million by 2030, which is not really that far away. That's 26, 27, 28, 29. So 4 years. If you want to buy an XRP token for $1.37 right now and just hold on to it, I think you will have $1 million in 4 years, but that's just my opinion. 4 or 5 years, maybe. Could be, yeah, about that. Um, that's really exciting to me. I do think that's what the current US administration is doing with relation to cryptocurrency and making sure that the legislation surrounding it, i.e., the Clarity Act and the Genius Act, making sure that those things are done properly and correctly and not rushing them through, but doing them the right way, uh, is going to be a really good thing for the world because once we have that legal clarity, uh, people who I'm certain want to get on board with it will be legally able to do that without risking anything. So uh, they won't have to get sued. There won't be any reason for them to get sued, etc., etc. Big investors, people who hold uh, large amounts of money as investment funds and hedge funds and these types of things for other people will be able to invest on their behalf and not have to worry about getting sued because the legislation will support that not happening. So um, it's really good, you guys in Congress and Mr. President, that the time is being taken to make sure that this happens because it's going to be the financial infrastructure for the foreseeable future. So until I think until money is no longer necessary to run this world. Um, kind of like Star Trek. You know, they don't have money in Star Trek, do they? No. Um, but I think that's where we are headed is into that kind of future where money won't be really a thing. But until that point, we're going to need something that is better and more suited towards the free market. So, yeah, XRP is great for that. It's a super fast currency. It moves as much money as you want it to move in about 3 seconds. So I've used it and it works like that. So it's perfect. So yeah, thank you for taking my taking the idea off my website for what needs to be done to stay. That's the rest of the world. don't mind as long as it's done the right way. That's all that's concerning, and I think it's being done right. So I'm really grateful, and I think I think Congress is doing a great job. I think the president's doing a great job with that, and it's great to see that someone is finally standing up for the American people and not letting us be dictated to by banks and uh, foreign investment and who knows what, who knows where a lot of the money that's been coming into our country has been coming from. I don't really know all of the details about all of that myself, but I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to have a system that enables us to have a freer market and to be more financially independent as a country and as individuals. So I think crypto and particularly things like XRP are perfect for that. So, um, you guys, I have to go do something. So what I'm going to do is sign off for a few minutes, and I will try to get back on here. So uh, in just a little while. So I'll talk to you soon. This is Michael Macintosh.